Okay, so this is just showing a little add-on I made for animating things in VR in Godot. After installing it, you can go in here and you enable this one called VR Animation. And then what it'll add some options under here, under Tools, Set up VR Animation. So what you end up doing is you drop in something that will have a skeleton 3D is the important part. So that's rigged there. So I can drop that into the scene and then set up the scene for VR animation, and it adds some other things. It adds this VR controller and an animation controller. The animation controller will have like these output paths of where it's going to save any animation saved. There's an output path and an autosave path. The output one is one that you save explicitly by pressing S on the keyboard. And this one will just be saved automatically in case you forgot to do that. And there's some other settings here. And down at the bottom, there's other ways of modifying an animation. And you can specify a source animation that you're using as the starting point that you want to edit, rather than going from scratch if you want. So you could quick load and load one in there. Then anything I do will be animated or used as that, use that as a starting point. So then from here we can run this in XR mode. Then I'm putting on my headset, and so then you can see what I'm doing in here. But all this is down here, so the controls are going to be kind of weird. I was just making up stuff as I went along. But I'll try to explain some things. Oh, hang on. Where is... There we go. There's the timeline. If the timeline is not anywhere where you can see it, you can press R on the keyboard and it will try to bring it back to where you can actually see it. And so here we see the animation I had in there already. And these red dots are all keyframes. And I can step through it. Okay, I'll explain some of the controls, okay? So kind of like have the right hand and left hand. Right hand is always about moving things in the model itself. And the left hand is more focused on interface. So if I grab, I can move that around. If I'm not grabbing the timeline, I move that around. And if I use the thumbstick, I can make things rotate around because I want to see a different angle. Then with the right hand, you can see here the currently selected bone. I can actually step through different bones by just using the thumbstick on this controller, which is maybe a little weird one, but also I can press the B button on the controller and we'll try to grab the one closest to it. So that was useful. Having the thumbstick version was useful for, like, if you're trying to grab a very tiny one and you're getting close but not exactly, you can now just step through and get the one you actually want. So then once you have that, then the grip, when you press that, now you can rotate whatever the selected bone is. And if you use the trigger, you'll change the position. And then you can see also here, when I did that, that added a new keyframe to the timeline for that particular thing. So also the thumbstick on the left controller will step forward and backward through the animation for left and right, and up and down will change the distance to the onion skin, how many frames behind or ahead it can be. So that'll help you visualize what's happening at any time. And then the button on this one will let you play it all the way through. Okay, some of the things you can set up from here are for reference, help you reference something while you're making it, like the image sequence display. You can specify an image folder. So, oh, wait, there we go. Copy path. There we go. Copy the path, and it'll assign that, and then so then we can go through frame by frame and use that as a reference for our animation, if you want. Or also there's a synced animation player, which is just an animation player that can play any sort of animation. And what I set it up for here is I have all these, footprint targets that are just sliding along on one animation, and then I could animate the character to try to hit those targets. Okay, so then any animations that you make end up being saved as resource files, and you can import them as you would other animations and play them with an animation player in your game, or do further editing if that's of the keyframes and everything. There's no way to delete keyframes in VR. There's no undo and stuff. So in the moment that gets you in a certain headset, but if you want to do other edits later, you can do that here as well. And then a lot of these other things that I added to the animation controller script were other things I wanted to change on animations as they came up. So there's a scale, so this will scale positions of any animations, and this will merge the start and end of two different animations together, which, I don't know, I'll probably just keep adding to that as weird one-offs come up that I want something.